The bliss of the abyss, it's here now.
Hello, Bliss of the Abyss. Hello, Robert. Congratulations on making 100 episodes. That's very impressive, and for us in Ukraine, it's a very symbolic and strong number. Yesterday we had the Remembrance Day of Heroes of a Holy 100. Unfortunately, over 100 people got killed during Maidan here on Independence Square. When we were fighting for our freedom, I believe that open Russian aggression has started here as well. As you can see behind me, it's quite a recent work by Banksy. I think that's a great choice that he decided to capture kids, because a lot of us who were here during Maidan, that's all we could think of, that, everybody, you kids, they should be able to stay safe anywhere, especially in their capital. And as we see from our experience, the only thing that can guarantee it is bravery. So I wish you and your listeners to always be brave, no matter what you have to do, whether you have to stop a psychopath who's trying to kill your dear ones, or I don't know, if you need to paint your bathroom, whatever you're planning to do, just stay brave, like Ukrainians. And I hope one day we'll have a chance to record one of your episodes here on Independence Square. And I hope it's gonna be before you'll reach 200. So stay safe, brother, and you listeners, and have a great day. And congratulations again.
Well, 1,000 years of the bliss of the abyss. And haven't we come a long way? From one man speaking into a microphone by himself to lovely, wholesome interviews and chats among friends and colleagues and interesting people. And it's just so lovely and delightful and funny and educational. And quite frankly, I think that it's lost its way. Bring back the old, more classic bliss of the abyss, more Ruskin Denmark, going insane, locked in a room, talking to himself, putting little crispy leaves in meals, speaking into a voice encoder, and trying to serve his own creative career. More of that, please. But hey, when you think about it, actually those days were really good. Those days were cutting edge. You were taking the mickey out of Vladimir Putin before it was cool. So more of the old bliss of the abyss, less of the new, wholesome, professional, and extremely enjoyable and listenable bliss of the abyss. Happy 1,000 years!
You should cut it off and then keep it. And if they really want you to be back, they can glue
it back on. Make a wig.
Make a wig.
But that would require him to be able to cut like a thin layer of his scalp off as well at the same time, right?
No, I don't think that's how wigs are made,
No.
right?
Really?
Yeah. Because you hear about people
misunderstood
donating their hair
entirely.
to wigs, like for people with cancer and
Yeah.
shit. I don't think they cut their scalps off.
Okay, quick question.
I don't think that's
how,
what
How
happens.
do they make a wig out of the hair?
So you know how when people go to make a wish?
You're going to answer. I was gonna get him with this because he's got no idea, but you can answer.
No,
that's
I have
fine.
no idea.
Well, I
was
imagine
trying to-
they get a little hat. And
See, I knew you had no idea.
And they
get a little hat.
And then they plug the hair in the hat.
They plug the hair in the hat.
Yeah.
It gives the Inglourious Basterds a different spin, doesn't it? They were just collecting scalps for cancer victims. It's not about revenge. It's pro-social.
So welcome to the 100th extravaganza episode, which I will be releasing sometime in 2025 in accordance with current schedules. Let's go around and introduce yourself. You are, of course, Hillary Rodham. Sorry.
Ooh, MAGA 2025.
Okay, some salt already in the room.
Caitlin.
Oh, she's going to take that salt with some sugar. And then some lemon. Interesting. Pancake day.
Suck my...
Chubbies. And then moving round, we have...
Carpet Martin, hello. What can I say? Bon vivant, raconteur, dancer, all-round good time girl. Will that do?
Yes, you've got 10 more
Good.
seconds if you'd like anything extra.
No, I've completed.
Okay, good. Hoping to complete again is the man to his right. No, his left. My right. Yep. Who is?
Thomas Leo. Self-description isn't my forte. I've been told I'm ruggedly handsome if you hold the handsome. Yeah, I don't have an identity as sorts.
You are ruggedly handsome.
Thank you.
No, no problem.
In the right light, I look like a young man.
So, thanks all for agreeing to do the show. Of course, you will be paid. Not with money, obviously. That's not silly. But with pancakes. It is indeed Pancake Day as well. Now, I thought we'd jump straight off the bat because I'll be releasing this in February.
No,
I'm going to try.
surely not.
Because I wanted to talk about pancakes, and if I release it in 2 weeks' time, no one's going to give a fuck about pancakes.
Well, you can release it in February 2024, can you?
Good point. That's a man who's thinking I So I made some predictions ahead of time.
Oh, here we go.
This is only about you two because I already know Caitlin's preferences.
Oh.
My predictions are
Oh, yeah.
the way that you like your pancakes, carpet Martin,
Hello.
is very traditional, basic, don't fuck around, and you look down on people who do it differently.
I think you could extrapolate that to every bit of my life. It's not just pancakes. Every single facet of my existence boils down to that.
Right. Well, then I'd say I've nailed it then.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. Good.
So goat cheese?
Oh, fuck off!
There we go.
Goat's cheese in a pancake? Ugh.
Or on.
Who can get in the angriest?
Sprinkle.
Oh, no. Sugar and lemon, golden syrup. Done.
I told you. To an ingredient.
We got that ready, by the way.
Thank you.
They are American style pancakes.
No.
Jesus wept. You mean you're not doing a lovely thin crepe?
A le crepe, or as Caitlin pronounces it,
Grape.
like the paper.
And also, we're doing savory crepes, which are otherwise known as galettes. But, you know.
Nobody calls them that.
Yeah, that's what you said
What about the French? The French definitely call it that.
I've never heard the word galette before.
You'd have to have
This is going on
wheat
to
flour.
my second theory.
But yeah, galette is one of those things that, you know, it's savory and it's a pancake. Otherwise known as
No, I've got it. I mean, honestly. I understand what the principle of what we're talking about, but nobody calls it a
I wasn't
galette.
talking to you, I was talking to you. I heard the word.
Hello. Nobody calls it a galette.
Never heard the word, so I assume you're right.
It's the name for a buckwheat pancake.
Oh.
Which otherwise
traditionally
known
made
as a
with-
crepe.
You could indeed just call it.
A galette.
So moving on to my prediction for you,
Yes.
which is you'll eat absolutely any type of pancake with any type of filling. You might even mix up sweet and savoury,
I mean, bacon maple syrup is classic for a
for
reason.
example.
Yeah. You are correct. I've never met a pancake I wouldn't eat. But if I were on death
you're a serial
row
killer.
again,
Yeah, okay.
if I were on death row and they said, "Hey, we're kind of running low on stock for requests. You get pancakes, but you get to pick your toppings. How do you want them?" I'm probably gonna go with the classic
Key inside.
Absolutely.
If that's all right.
Yeah, perfect. Absolutely. Key inside. Light on the dressings. I don't want to get sticky fingers while I'm searching for my keys.
Go on. What would you choose?
Well, now maple syrup is going to be a little bit of a downhill. But yeah, just classic maple, I reckon. I think there's nothing wrong with maple syrup.
Are you talking American pancakes then?
I'm talking Canadian pancakes.
Whoa!
Oh, shit.
And what does Australia do?
Vegemite.
What? A pancake?
There's a whole bunch of Australians listening, I assume, that have just had the exact same reaction because I've never met anyone who would put Vegemite on a pancake.
No, because it's
I would.
absurd.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't do it,
Why
but
not?
you would say it on a podcast.
Much more importantly.
I believe that most Australians would probably have the British sugar and lemon. The
Classic.
American maple syrup / bacon /
Blueberries.
blueberry pancakes, chocolate pancakes, Nutella crepes are of course.
Yeah, none of this upsets me. All of those are perfectly
They're
acceptable.
acceptable to you?
Yeah.
That's fair,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Goat's cheese.
No, goat's cheese.
Oh, sliced banana's another one.
We got that
Yeah,
in there
sliced
too.
banana.
Tick. Except, we do have Vegemite. Marmite.
We've got Marmite. We ran out of
That's-
Vegemite.
I thought we had a Vegemite at one
We
point.
did. I like it. It's gone. I used it up. We need to get more.
We need to get more.
Well, it's good. I like to eat it. And I think it would be quite nice on a pancake. And I might put some Marmite on one of my pancakes.
Make sure you add salted butter first. I know you're just taking the piss, but make sure you add
I'm
salted
not
butter.
taking the piss. I'll do it.
No, I know you do. I know you do
I'll
it.
ruin
I know
that.
you do it. I like that. Can't wait for next year where Pancake Day gets cancelled because of what Robert did last year.
So, one of the things I just wanted to bring up about Pancake Days, you know how they sell the pre-made batters already? It
Oh,
seems
yeah.
very counterintuitive to, like, what the holiday is all about. It's meant to clear out your cupboards
Yeah.
and whatnot. So it's like, let me buy this thing that's already made and not clear out a damn thing.
I think that's how holidays evolve into wide set social acceptance. Is that we just completely gut the original meaning and insert whatever's convenient.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I didn't realise it was to get rid of stuff in your pantry.
Yeah, it's the beginning of Lent, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you get rid of all the stuff, and then you starve for 40 days, and then I
Good
don't
luck getting out the other side
know.
of that.
Then you walk out of the desert or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the
And you put
crux of
Christ
it.
back on Christmas.
Put the Christ back in Christmas. That's it.
By that time, it's Easter
Oh,
and
have a
chocolate
couple.
eggs.
Yeah.
You know, the real meaning of Christianity.
So is that why it's called Fat Tuesday then?
Yeah.
'Cause you'd just be putting everything
'Cause
in
you eat
there,
everything.
So you have a big meal.
Yeah.
Get fat on you and then get ready to Lent it up.
Like a little squirrel eating before Windsor.
Yeah. I don't know.
Started that sentence without going in. I don't know where it's going to go. That's...
Isn't that such a thrill when you're being recorded and you start a sentence and you go, oh God, I'm in this with the rest of you. I've got no idea where this is going. This is going to be fun for everyone.
Today's Mardi Gras too, right? Because Fat Tuesday.
Same thing.
And,
Same day. Shrove Tuesday.
Shrove
also known
Tuesday.
as.
Oh! Didn't know Mardi Gras was French for Fat Tuesday, huh? Fucking galette.
It's French for how many beads can you put around your neck.
Now you get beads by, correct me if I'm wrong, flashing something.
Woo!
Yeah? Okay.
I didn't just flash them.
Well,
They wouldn't have known either way.
I'm going to cut that bit out just so.
Yeah.
Right, let's all get a reaction like she did. Oh! What? Caitlin,
Your
wow!
Fat Tuesdays.
Hey, hold on.
I don't really understand this whole bead thing. So I was in New Orleans just
Pick up your bum,
after...
they vibrate.
Sorry?
Sorry? Sorry?
Just after Mardi Gras.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't there for it. But I don't get it. I don't get what the bead thing is. Like,
Aren't they prayer beads?
I assume.
I mean,
What about the baby in the cake as well? There's
Wait,
this.
wait.
That makes perfect sense. That makes perfect
One thing at a time, for goodness sake. We'll never solve the beads if we go on to baby in a
But maybe
cake.
the beads will lead us to the enigma of the baby in the cake.
who's putting babies in cakes?
King cakes.
What?
King cakes.
What's a king cake?
So everyone gets a slice of king cake around Mardi Gras as well, and
Right.
when you bite it, if you get the baby, they stick a plastic baby, and as you eat the cake, someone has to find the plastic baby by eating it.
And then they have to
I don't know what
let
the
someone
baby
else
means, what
impregnate them.
happens.
What's-
You don't know. You don't know what the result of finding the baby is.
Yeah, I
you just know
wasn't
that you
planning
eat
on
a
talking
plastic
about
baby. Well, again, it came out of your. We were trying to work out the beads, but now we're talking about.
I want to know what happens to this poor baby.
You take it to a fire station or a police station. You put it up for
Prediction.
adoption.
Wait.
Yeah.
It's been eaten.
Oh,
You vomit up and then take it.
weep. Have an existential crisis.
Maybe the thing is, if you bite into it and you find it and you retrieve it, then you're going to have a baby. But if you bite into it and you swallow it, then there's going to be a misdelivery.
Then you have a lost.
Doesn't sound like science, does it?
I can't imagine that a baby in the guts would help with a healthy pregnancy. Wait, I mean, that is what a normal... No, guts. I mean, I said guts. Good, I didn't say belly.
I like how we're all trying to guess the meaning of these things like we don't all have Google on our phones.
Yeah, it's a little naked figurine of a baby.
Good
Naked, eh?
grief.
Classic.
Yep.
In a pancake.
Yeah.
No, normal cake, isn't it?
Ooh.
King cake.
King cake.
Ooh, my phone's decided not to work. This is...
Oh, this is good content. Okay, well, what we'll do is we'll use this as an opportunity to bring up our first
Act of the evening.
act of the evening. So, I asked for submissions, and I've had a few people send in videos. There's a few audio-only ones. I have not watched any of these. What I do know is that Caitlin's dad not only sent 5, but he also sent sort of about 10 emails with various double attachments and single attachments and caveats about previous emails and attachments like that. So there's going to be quite a few of those. We're going to watch one now. Any preference for what we're going to start with?
The first.
Yeah. And also, are we allowed to roast it or do we have to be respectful?
Is there some way you can do both?
Let's give it a whirl.
Historically, no, but I can try. Yeah, sure.
Edge towards roast then and away from respect, as you've done your entire life. And then we'll find out why you put babies in cakes.
The bliss of the abyss.
This is Alex Morgan, who was a guest on episode
60.
And here's his message. Oh, his face looks very strange.
Hi, Rob. Just to say congratulations on your 100th episode of Tupper Tuppata. May there be 100 more. You're so talented. It's extraordinary.
That was quite good.
That's one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen.
If you don't make that the gif of the show when you share it...
It might get flagged for inappropriate content. What did he do with his face? How can he do that?
I presume that's a filter, yeah.
No.
TikTok. Yeah.
More importantly, what did he do with his hair? Because I know some surfers back in Australia who would kill for a wave like that.
Really?
Yeah.
I will
It was
ask him. I'll find out.
magnificent
I'll find out. That's got nothing to do with this filter that apparently he was using. No?
hair filter.
He might have used a double filter, yeah.
Guess what? It wasn't a filter for his voice. That's just pure talent.
Yeah, that's exactly what he sounds like. So, thank you, Alex. Why do we put babies in cakes, please, Caitlin?
Tradition dictates that finding the baby in your cake symbolizes luck and prosperity. And the finder becomes the king or queen of the evening. That is literally it. I do not know why it started with babies, though. It's not saying that here.
A baby is good luck, usually.
I guess.
Yeah, new life, new chance. I mean, I'm not saying that is true.
You mean symbolically?
Symbolic.
Yeah. I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell that to the 13-year-old girl who's currently crying on a bathroom toilet. Anyway.
Okay, Mardi Gras begins on January 6th, which January 6th is a big deal for lots of people.
Caitlin with the dog whistles for my Trump fans.
Known as
Thank you.
Epiphany in the Christian tradition. Epiphany is celebrated on the 12th day after Christmas, and the three kings are said to have actually made it to see baby Jesus, which is why the
Actually
dessert
made
is
it.
called king cake, and why there's a tiny baby hidden inside.
There we go. We're learning. Actually made it is a subtle dig at the kings, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's when they actually made it.
Exactly. Imagine being
12
late to
days
the
late.
birth of the Messiah
Yeah.
and you're late. Just leave earlier.
Yeah.
Honestly, this generation of messiahs and prophets is just not like the old ones that used to get there on time.
And they don't really discuss the birthing process.
Of Jesus?
Yes.
Presumably.
Presumably it was miraculous also, right? Not the regular human experience.
No, mate. They had to make sure it came out of her. So
yeah, but like presumably it came out like just fresh and oven ready type
Fresh
thing.
as a daisy.
Like shelling peas.
Like shelling peas, yeah. Although hopefully the shell miraculously disappeared as well and didn't stay inside. That would cause her problems.
Well, he came out glowing. And
He did
floating.
Exactly. Yeah,
With
he
wings.
levitated out.
Yeah.
You know, sort of did a Yoda move.
He had a velvet placenta come after him.
Well, instead of the umbilical cord, they cut his wings.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Gonna have to cut that. That's a bit controversial. It's a bit rich.
What, did Jesus have wings when he was born?
No.
What about a tail?
No.
Did you?
Did I have wings when I was born?
Definitely.
Yeah. I look like the kind of bloke who'd have wings. I don't know.
I meant the tail, but I'm glad you've got that belief in yourself. So we're going to move on to video 2. This is from Dave Fox, who was a guest on episodes 64 and 73.
We had like a 5-hour episode or something ridiculous.
Yes, I listened to all of that.
He holds the record for the longest episode.
It was 4.5 hours.
There we go. Did it make sense?
Nope.
Well, let's see if this video does. Oh, hold on. Whoa, it's a full production here.
4 hours long.
So for context, Dave is a visual artist. He created the podcast logo artwork. It's not 4 hours long, it's a minute.
rather epic, wasn't it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think anyone else put in that much effort? I think we might have peaked too soon. That was incredible.
That was quite something, yeah.
Dave.
Someone.
David Fox.
The acting could have been improved though. Dave. Just saying.
Always a critic.
Couple of takes.
Didn't commit to everything, but
Also the
a
video.
noble, valiant attempt.
Also, it
Well
was
done,
nice,
Dave.
nice of the CGI team from Superman to reverse superimpose that mustache onto his face. I love that shit.
You gotta love the video, like watermark in the top corner.
Yeah.
Don't pay for your shit.
Don't pay for your shit, that's your lesson. Life lesson to learn.
I think Britney Spears uses the same one for her Instagram reels.
Yeah, she does, doesn't she?
does.
Yeah,
That was not a joke, just a fact.
just a fact.
She's paid enough.
Leave Britney alone. But Dave, that was amazing.
Yeah, I don't imagine anyone's gonna top that. Maybe your dad's
My
fine.
dad has 5 attempts.
Are we gonna watch all of those in order then?
May as
all
well.
of the-
Yeah.
How long? I don't know how long they are.
Well, I
you-
don't know.
Well, if he sent sort of like 15-minute rambles and there's 5 of them, I don't know if we should do that. I don't know if that's the right thing.
There's
to do.
only one way to find out.
Well, okay, let's start the next one.
I'm keeping it Now when you're keeping me my prisoner all night. Want you to make me feel like I'm the only girl in the world. Like I'm the only one that you love for love. Like I'm the only one that
This is amazing. There's a lot of seagulls. copyright. I've got to put that.
Oh, true.
It will get flagged.
My only note is that I thought that once the seagulls were all eating, he should have jumped into the middle and started dancing in time to the music. It's my only note, John. Only note. It's a very minor thing.
You'd become a master of TikTok if you did that.
And seagulls.
Yeah.
Caitlin,
Yes.
I think your dad might be living in his car.
We don't talk about that.
I hope these videos aren't just a progression of that theory to hard fact.
More and more evidence comes to light.
How's that for action?
There we go. How's that for action?
Oh god.
Brilliant.
That's hilarious. I have a suggestion. Let's intersperse each one of John's with someone else's,
Yeah.
because then it's like a callback each time.
Right.
Agreed.
Is that...
That's how good
Structure.
stories work.
That's how... Because it's like, we've now obviously got our A plot,
Yeah.
and we want to intersperse that with scenes from the B plot, and then...
So that would make Alex's was like the coming attractions. Dave's was like the trailer,
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
and then we've had a plot,
A plot?
and we're gonna have 4 more, maybe. I don't know. We've only got 2 more videos and 2 audio files.
I'm gonna vote for Nils going last, just because that
You think
seems
he's a
appropriate.
closer?
The music and all the cuts
He
that
makes the
you
music.
use. Yeah, that's.
Anyone like to vote for not having Nils last? It's a democracy.
No, I'm very happy with that.
No.
Okay, I would just like to. I abstain from this vote.
He's done a great job on the music.
I know, but I don't want him to sweep the boards here.
All right, well, we'll spoil our ballots, and then he'll just win by Caitlin's one vote.
You're welcome, Nils. You're welcome.
Support in the room. You want to dive straight into another? Peter's, I believe, is short and sweet.
27, 65, the now removed 71, and 90.
Should we have a see?
Oh,
Let's have a look at
how
what
fitting.
it was.
Peter.
It was a small file for a small man.
Hello, and congratulations for getting to your 100th episode of The Bliss of the Abyss, thus proving that Ofcom does not function correctly. Congratulations, enjoy yourself. I'm off to go listen to another podcast / radio station of my choice. Have fun.
Sarcastic bastard.
Yeah, I liked his dressing gown.
Yeah,
That
don't
was
wear your
nice.
dressing gown.
Yeah, he looked very daft. He looked like he should be smoking a stogie and sitting there in his bunny slippers.
Or off down Tesco.
That's right. Off down Tesco.
Playboy Revival as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you, Peter, who was, of course, a guest on episodes. I hope I edit these in.
You won't.
I hope you will too. I don't have that.
What episodes were we guests on?
I don't do that with the people in the room. That's not the game. But it was episodes.
Well, the video that Robert Feldman asked where he should send it.
Oh, we've got one coming
But
in
he
live on the
doesn't-
show.
No, he doesn't. He said, "Where should I send it?" So I don't know.
Will you make it in time? theblissoftheabyss@gmail.com
Okay.
for all of your needs.
Did you hear that, listeners? Send Robert your inappropriate photograph.
I would love to see them.
As would I.
Ugliest penis wins.
Never received a dick pic personally.
Neither.
Not expecting to anytime soon, boys. So stop looking at me like that. That was not a request.
Oh dear, this is awkward.
Caitlin has. On the daily.
Half sent out.
Thanks for doing some
And by
podcast
sending it,
admin.
My dick pic.
Yeah. You've included an attachment, have you? Are we ready for another?
Absolutely.
Okay, where should we go?
John 2.
John 2. Okay. I don't know. I don't know why this computer doesn't know this.
Okay, here's a
Yeah,
little bit
back
more
in the car. Yep.
to bring back memories of when you guys were here, to help celebrate your 100th podcast episode. This is East Islip. Next up for the celebration are the deers. I wish I could find the wild turkeys for you guys, but I'll have to just do with the deer and the birds for now. Okay. Beautiful here, right? Oh my goodness, just beautiful here.
Hopefully no copyright strike.
I was going to say, if they put these through an algorithm, you may get struck for the copyright.
Yeah,
But
he's-
he has such an iconic accent.
Beautiful.
It's such an iconic
Isn't
accent.
it just lovely? It's great.
Well, when he does it, yeah. What beach is that?
Islip, so that would be... Well, that's a private beach, but... It's like a lot of Long Island. Just like
Private
little
beach.
bits.
That doesn't mean he owns it. Remember, he lives in his
Yeah.
car.
When you said private beach, I was like, and he's renting it?
It might be part of like Robert Moses Beach though, because you know the coastlines all kind of connect. They're all the same beach in a way.
Coastlines are great like
They'll
that.
be like, yeah, this is like Long
One of
Beach
their
going-
distinguishing features.
So like Jones Beach is just a section of a beach, I
Yeah.
feel, and it'll just keep going, and it gets out
Yeah.
to like Robert Moses and all that. So and then you get to Montauk. So
Yeah. And how do you tell when you're technically on the next beach?
you don't, and that's
never
why
know.
there's this story when Nora, my best friend, got married. One of my stories for their wedding was about how Nora and I ended up on like a third beach, and nobody knew where we were because we just walked on the coastline and ended up like, I don't know, in a different county. Let's just say.
But how old were you?
Like 10.
Yeah, I think this is the problem here. It's a 10-year-old logic. And then the fact is, I don't know why any of you haven't said this, a beach is a technical geographical thing and it ends where it ends. You don't have halfway through a beach, it becomes a new beach. That's not how beaches work. Okay?
Are you measuring beaches from the ocean to the not sand? Or are you measuring beaches from like one bit of the beach and then you walk along the sand next to the ocean? Because, well, when you walk
From one
on...
end to the other. That's how I'm measuring beaches. What do you mean? And then there'll be a bit of headland
Like
or a cliff or something.
I got you.
And then another beach
got
will
you.
begin. That's how beaches work.
That's not what you're stepping in.
Yeah, it's
also
called
shut up.
geography.
What
Yeah,
if
no
the
one
beach-
likes being right. I
Hang
know.
on. What if the beach is so long and
Yeah.
luxurious and iconic and goes on forever
Mm.
that keeping it as one big segment is just, you know...
That's true. Blackpool Beach goes into St Anne's Beach. You could walk from one straight across into the other.
There's no way that you can.
Boom! I don't
No, you can. I've done it.
What you've done at some point is you've gone over some split between the two of them and ended up on the next beach.
No.
Yes.
Well, no.
Well, yes. And I've never been to that beach, but I can tell you that's what's happened.
Yeah, Rob got a first in geography at Cambridge, so
Yeah, it's very important.
he knows these things.
And in answer to your question,
Yeah, yeah.
seeing as I'm feeling feisty, why would you want to cut up the longest beach in the world? It would be more iconic if you kept it together.
Because
as
if
the
someone
longest
says, help, send the ambulance, someone's just been bitten by a shark on North Beach, and you go, cool, North Beach is over 1,000 miles long. Where? Which bit?
1,000 miles long. That's a really unrealistic length of beach. But my criticism is more that you chose to call the most iconic beach in the world
North Beach. That's funny. I didn't even pick up on that. That is a terrible name for a beach.
What would you call the most iconic beach in the world?
Caitlin Beach.
Aww.
Thanks, guys.
I'm gonna be sick.
Unfortunately, I'm a bit busy trying to realise when things end and start, but...
Existential crisis in full swing.
There's a Robert Moses bridge, but Robert Moses actually was the one who created Jones Beach. But then as you keep going along Jones Beach, it does change into Gilgo Beach, which is not Jones Beach. It looks like one straight line, but then
No, it doesn't.
there's another bit, which is a different thing, but it's cut, and that's Fire Island. So
Oh, I've heard of Fire Island.
yeah, so and then as you keep going all the way out, it's a few things, the West Hampton Dunes. I wasn't actually sure of the geography, so for anyone who's like listening from Long Island, I didn't want them to throw a hatchet at me. For saying the wrong
That is
things.
common
I was
behaviour
just saying,
out there.
is that a common problem
I can
in Long
confirm,
Island?
yeah, that's highly likely.
I've known
Might
them-
still happen.
I know them for their iced teas, and that's about it.
The iced tea leads to the hatchet throwing.
Well, that makes perfect sense. 'cause,
Yes.
after-
Right, ready for John 3 or any other comments on this part
what-
about how I was right about beaches?
One more comment. Recently, we went out and we went to this bar. It wasn't a pub, it was a bar, and it was kind of like under, you had to go down steps, and it really reminded me of New York City, and like the interior very seemed like a dive bar. Anyway, we met this Scottish couple, and she was very, very nice, but she kept being like, I really just want, I can't even do this, I really just want to order the Long Island tea. And I was like, no, it's Long Island iced tea. I was like, iced tea is quite important. So she's like, I love the Long Island tea. And that was a really bad Scottish accent. But she was just like, they do it all over the world. And I was like, okay, but I'm from Long Island and I know why it's called these things and whatnot. And she went, but.
Did she get blitzed?
Yes.
Yeah. Because that's what they're
She
for,
almost
isn't it?
immediately brought us around.
Immediately.
Really?
Yeah.
Just straight away.
Yeah, that's the point of them, isn't it?
Yeah, I
But
mean,
we didn't know this person.
we didn't know them and they were lovely.
Doesn't matter when you've had a Long Island iced tea.
Yeah.
Friends
Long
with every...
Island tea.
Long Island
sorry.
tea.
Sorry.
The thing that I, like, the story I know, that's
Oh,
not
there we go. It's coming out.
You know what? Forget about it.
Iconic. The story.
Okay, save the story. We'll come back to the story I know. Part 3.
Oh, you've got a red
This
coat.
is 1 minute 41 seconds. Okay, again trying to get me struck off my platforms.
Back in the car.
Look at the deers.
Happy 100th TVOTA from the Deers. And there they are. Now, should it be singular? Should it be deer?
It depends on how fond he is of them.
They just come right up to you.
Well, they eat in a
Yeah.
sandwich.
Yeah, sandwich.
Deers like sandwiches.
Deers love sandwiches.
I mean, you're not, I don't know if you're familiar with that, but,
When they say Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the red nose is for ketchup.
so this is like not that far away.
Like
Like,
a little black pussy cat to say hi.
yeah, oh, that's all the cats.
I like deer. They look so cute and innocent.
The thing is, it's Suffolk County, right? So it's like only an hour and a half maybe away from Manhattan.
Oh yeah.
It's not far, this
Yeah.
type of stuff. And that's like, I'm just giving it a stretch.
Yeah, a beach. There we go.
No. We have to go to Richmond Park to see deer.
Yeah. Oh, we have to.
Yeah, we
Can you
have
hunt
to.
them?
No.
I mean, you can.
I mean, no.
But you will then in turn be hunted.
Did you ever have a teacher who did this? Like, can I go to the
The deer
bathroom?
say happy 100th.
And then say, I don't know, can you?
Yeah.
What's that famous video of the guy chasing the dog on Richmond Park after the...
Oh,
His
yeah.
dog's going
Oh
off
my
the
god.
Uh,
Brain dead.
Fenton.
But thank God for the deer. They'll make
Is it
up for
Fenton?
It's something like that. Yeah, Fenton.
Fenton!
Oh yes.
Oh, for Christ's sake!
Classic. Those deers had little fluffy tails on them.
They're really cute.
They're
and there's
really
loads of them. Like,
Now, the fluffy tail is so that they
Amazing.
can follow each other in a herd, presumably.
No, it's
Because it's
like
also
a,
a signal for a predator,
it's
isn't it?
it's
It's not great.
flirt, it's flirty.
Flirty too.
Yeah.
But if they're like running away, they have to stay as a pack, don't they? So it's easier to follow if there's a little white bobby bit.
Think of it.
Flirty.
I think if a deer's running away from you and waving that flirty little tail, they're just playing hard to get, aren't they?
wow.
What's the sexiest animal?
I was just thinking that. I was
Tiger?
thinking the flirtiest animal because
Tigers aren't sexy.
Oh come on.
panther.
Cougar.
Panther's quite sexy.
I think panther over cougar.
Oh! Ageist.
I would have to say the emu or the ostrich.
Why? How dare you?
It's
Head
something.
down, ass up.
It's something about the way they bob their heads, to be honest. Yeah.
I like the bird's direction, but like, maybe like
And the
Why
notoriously
the bird
stupid.
direction?
I find that
I don't hear Tom fucking...
I didn't say I was having sex with them.
Didn't
I
you say
said
the sexiest animal?
sexiest.
But-
Yeah.
okay, maybe the most misinformed.
Maxim top 10 aren't in my phone. Like, I don't get to... Yeah, there's no intercourse occurring. I'm just observing and reporting back.
Well, those tropical birds, they have to do the dance and they're all like the bird of
birds of
paradise.
paradise, yeah.
I give them credit. At least they're trying to be sexy.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think anyone's ever asked David Attenborough what he thinks the sexiest animal is?
And of course, the sexiest animal is the slow loris.
But why?
Beautiful big eyes and slender thighs.
It's so slow it can't escape. Oh, it's mad.
They named a dragonfly after him. He might be a little bit vain and pick that.
Maybe.
The
Yeah.
David Attenborough.
The David Attenborough
Yeah,
dragon.
yeah.
No, even Attenborough's
It would be too much.
not
of a
going to
flex.
choose a
Too
dragonfly.
much of a flex.
Yeah, he'd
Yeah.
be a bit more humble than that.
I think so.
Yeah.
I reckon he'd go for a puffin. Just in a guess. I've never met the bloke, but I reckon he's a puffin man.
Just crouching in the rocks, waiting.
Watching. Look at you waddle.
You've got all the other guys hunting puffins to eat, and then they look over at David and he's just...
It's a family show. Right, next. Next, we have a choice of Sarah Crowden, Nils, or the one-take blunderer.
I don't know what the one-take blunder is.
So this is the personification of the abyss from episodes
74 and 96.
180 minus 80, 100. The abyss. Oh, go on then. You've twisted my phantom limb. Robert, aka the newest of the Mark Jones. You were waiting for me. I was waiting for you. No callbacks today. Just some broadly earnest statements from yours truly to thyself. Hell. A pit of spatial void where pittance don't even come into it. An immeasurably deep gulf or gaping space, an unfathomable gorge or chasm, primeval chaos of the old cosmos. Yeah, that word. A 1989 American science fiction film written and directed by James Cameron. A very deep hole that seems to have no bottom. Anything that appears to be endless, however infinite or profound, be it time, despair, or shame, or complete, perfect, supreme happiness, utterly great joy or contentment, pleasure, delight, gladness, ecstasy, elation, rapture, euphoria, paradise, cloud nine, utopia, Eden, Arcadia, heaven, 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 comedy rule of three, 7-4 otherwise, halcyon days of wine and roses, the top of the world. Josh has just blissed out, always smiling, the sheer bliss of an afternoon at the spa. Relaxing on the porch of our private villa was sheer bliss. She gave a sigh of bliss. Life she has lived will surely lead to infinite bliss after death. The question, really, is why a bite into its scrumptious goodness is enough to send a person into an utter state of bliss. Take note, Hamlet. Here's to the Baron of Brixton, the Wang to my Yang. Here's to the next centennial. Shalom, Sonny Jim.
That had to be a sibling of yours.
No.
No? Wow.
I requested that you made sure
Yeah.
that this was on. But that also made me think, and my axe! Because I couldn't add anything else.
In the arc of these clips being a movie, that was a real plot twist, I would say.
It was absolutely a plot twist, yeah, for sure. I came out of nowhere.
As well as an audition reel, Luke. Don't think I don't know what you're doing. Right? Trying out your voices and your accents.
They worked for me. Cast you.
Thanks, mate. That's good. There we go. Should we move swiftly on?
I mean, I feel like if we take any time, then that'll just sit in our souls.
Yeah.
It was quite.
Whereas
almost,
I think
almost poetic, huh?
I think so.
Almost.
Do you think he
What's a
made that
poem
off
to you
the...
then?
I don't want to just say that was poetry. That's a bit on
Yeah.
the nose for a compliment, but it was poetic, quite poetic.
We might have torn
So
him
you
down.
changed it a little bit. You said almost poetry.
I mean, it was definitely poetry.
Do you think it was pre-written, or do you think he came up with it off the top of
It sounded like a what do they call it in the hippity hops? Freestyle.
freestyle?
Yeah.
Agreed.
There's a small 18-year-old, well, there's a very large 18-year-old version of me in the past who hates the fact that I just called it hippity hops.
But the current version of you in the present likes the fact that you did it?
I've fully accepted that.
Your lot in life.
My lot in life. There is no world in which I can say the phrase hip hop and sound like I know what I'm talking about. I reckon more John.
Yeah.
Always more John.
John B4. Now, is he in his car?
No, he's in his house now. I can see it.
Well, he's in
Oh,
someone's
he's in
house.
someone's house.
He made his way into one of those private beach houses. Let's have a look. Okay. So this one is 5.5 minutes.
Holy shit.
Excellent. Good. I hope he gives us a tour of this person's house. Like he's showing a rental or something. This is
Maybe
the
we can see
bathroom.
the bodies.
Lovely double bed in here. See, plenty of dining room.
Okay, here we go.
I'm sorry, I have to continue my Steve Kennedy story because a call was coming in. That's why you saw me reach for the top. And by reaching for the top...
We've missed one.
Wait. Continue the story.
We've missed the
Wait.
the Steve Kennedy story.
Has he sent things in the wrong order?
I have one final thing to say. As I didn't know what Tabata stands for, because when you sent it to me...
You say Tabata, I
just
say
brought out
Tabata.
PDOTA. And now that I know, it means the bliss of the abyss. So I just need to correct that. So, happy bliss of the abyss, and not happy Tabata. Goodbye.
That's magic. That's fantastic.
Well, tragically...
I just gotta get me some of those hot Tabatas. Yo, Louie, make me a Tabata with everything.
That's the accent, yeah. Oh, I knew it from somewhere.
Oh my God.
Oh my
Do
god.
you know how many times he's been on the radio, been on our podcast?
Yeah.
No, he's got a voice for it, for sure.
But we've said
But you mean he's still
Tabata.
checking what it's
Yeah.
called? Yeah.
Tabata.
Still not sure. Well, I mean, tragically, I don't want to spend, time trying to find the first
It's
part
fine.
of that one. So I'll hunt it down
Put it on the extras.
and put it on the I'll
Do
put
a
it on the-
release.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That'll be a simple way of doing
Special
that.
extras.
I was just
I
checking.
want to hear the Steve Kennedy story.
I want to hear the Steve Kennedy story too, but you're going to
Yeah,
have
me-
to listen
yeah,
to the
me too.
podcast to get that.
Who's
It'll
Steve
be,
Kennedy?
Exactly.
He's
I know it. I know a Steve Kennedy, but I don't think it's the same Steve Kennedy he's talking about.
Was your Steve Kennedy
Wasn't-
born in like the 50s?
Wasn't he one of the
late
characters on
50s?
Neighbours?
No, my Steve Kennedy's an MMA fighter. He's about 33 or
No, so
something.
that's what he's been
You're
doing
thinking
with
of
his
Carl
life.
Kennedy.
I'm thinking of
Maybe.
Carl Kennedy, thank you.
Or Libby Kennedy. Or Susan Kennedy.
Yeah. Let's not name
John
characters
Kennedy.
Or Mal Kennedy.
Matt, are you still naming characters from
The
Neighbours?
Kennedy family and neighbours.
Yeah.
Who's the one that died? It was played by Jesse... No, that's wrong.
You shouldn't know this much about this show.
I've lived a very, very sheltered life.
I'm not helping you out this one, mate. You've got that shovel and you're digging. No, don't.
Billy Kennedy!
Okay. Right. So Steve Kennedy will have to be another time. We have 2 left, is that right?
Yes.
All right, so Sarah Crowden, who was, of course, on episode
38 and 84.
Good evening. It is I, Dame Teresa Thompson's Gazelle. Just a very quick message to wish you a happy anniversary for your 100th episode. Well done, you. I'm hiding up here because Crumpet's watching some ghastly program on the television, and my old chum and burden and ally is hogging the study. So it's just me and the cat in the bedroom. Look at the cat. Look at the cat. Oh, hello. Hello, pussy. So jolly good. Well done, Robert. I take my hat off to you, my metaphorical pearls. Good night.
Is it just me who really wanted the cat to be a dog?
It's still purring somehow.
That's magic. And that was a really cute cat.
Sie hören gerade das Glück des Abgrunds. Wow, wow, wow.
And finally, we have Nils.
8, 56 and 95.
Watch, this one's complete shit. No, I'm just kidding.
That would be
You're the
funny.
only one who voted for it.
That would be funny.
You got to stand behind it. Let's see what he's done. Let's see how long it is. Here we go.
Greetings, Rob. A little bird tells me it's the 100th episode of The Bliss of the Abyss and you're celebrating. That little bird might be you, if I'm honest. So, good stuff. Anyway, here's a little story to commemorate the 100th episode that really has nothing to do either with the number 100 or the podcast or anything else remotely pertaining to it. So I went to the recent Champions League quarter-final between Dortmund and Chelsea in Dortmund to the Westfalenstadion or the Signal Iduna Arena, whatever the fuck it's called now. Incredible place, sort of comparable to Liverpool Stadium, I guess, Anfield, but massive, sort of 81,000 spectators. Incredible. Dortmund won 1-0. Adeyemi scored the winning goal. It was an absolute peach of the goal. Great times. Anyway, before the game, a guy walked up to my cousin and I while we were waiting for the third party in our group at a parking lot a little way away from the stadium. Guy around 50 with sort of chiseled jaw and a face somewhere between Bob Mortimer and Sting. And he walks up to us in our full Dortmund regalia, obviously thinking we're locals, which in some sense of course we are. And he goes, as though speaking to an extraterrestrial, "Greetings!" and offers his hand. I shake his hand, and then in my perfect English accent, reply, "Greetings! How you doing, mate?" And it totally fucking blew his mind, because I guess he was expecting some Gestapo voice to come back to him. "Greetings! How are you doing? Welcome to Dortmund, my friend!" Or whatever. And I said, "Where are you from?" He went, "England." I said, "Well, yeah, obviously. Where are you from in England?" He said, "London." I said, "Well, where in London?" He went, "Well, North London." And I gave him a little look. I said, "Should you be a Tottenham or maybe an Arsenal fan then?" Wasn't expecting that, was he? Wasn't expecting that from the Dortmund guy in Dortmund. And he said, "Do I look like I want to slit my wrists?" And to be fair to him, he didn't look like he wanted to slit his wrist. So, you know, fair play to him. West London team, North London lad. And he was fucking hammered. So whether or not he got to see the game, I'm not sure how much he would have appreciated from it. So such are the adventures of Nils and his steer, sometime contributor to The Bliss of the Abyss. Goodbye.
Amazing. Sorry for the slight interruption of my aunt trying to call in to the show live, but that couldn't happen. Great, thank you, Nils. I like the part especially where you gave us a bit of a blow-by-blow, almost like as a sports journalist of how the match was.
Each of a goal.
And then, of course, in the 87th minute... okay, thanks, man. That was awesome. There we go. And like that, we are done with the extra material. Thank you, everybody who contributed, apart from you, Dave. No. Thank you, everybody.
Wow.
Steve Kennedy, part 2 coming
Steve
up.
Kennedy, I mean, no,
Coming up.
Steve
Steve
I
Kennedy.
don't know, was he? Was he a skeeve?
Oh! I'll leave that to John Barry.
Well, we'll find out in the story.
Yeah.
Oh, is this going to be a Vegas story, do you think?
No.
You'd hope not,
no.
right? You're not going to tell those.
Oh, true. Very true.
Or the mafia stories either. I can't tell those either.
No. That's for a different reason.
Ever been to Vegas?
No, I've not, but I have suggested getting married there quite a few times, and Ash isn't interested.
No, I don't think it'd be a good idea.
That's specifically why I suggested it. How much does she really want to get married? I used to say to her, when we would talk about marriage and I would feign disinterest, I used to say, I will marry you if you have a shotgun wedding with me in Vegas. And she said, no.
Yeah.
Now it's too late.
That is called rejecting your proposal. You do realise that's
was
what we call that in society.
Normally when you propose, you get down on one knee, and
Yeah,
I
you
was,
didn't even
I was on the couch, so I
Yelling at her.
I wouldn't call
What
it
if
a
she called your
proposal.
bluff?
What if she called my bluff?
Yeah. And just went, all right, let's book the tickets now.
It was Vegas, isn't it? So it's worth it.
It's not, actually.
Yeah, no.
I'm not a fan of Vegas.
Neither am I.
No?
No.
I've never
We've talked
been.
about this before.
No,
Yeah.
I don't really have an interest to go.
I don't intend on going.
I'm not much of a gambler, and I don't use prostitutes. And I can't really see another reason to go to Las Vegas, because that seems to be all there is.
It used to be Britney Spears.
No,
But you know that.
is use the right phone.
I was going to say.
All right. Yeah, actually, yeah.
Okay, all right. We've learned a lot about you in this
You
moment.
use a slot machine. You don't use a prostitute.
Well, you could argue that. No, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. So no Vegas stories for any. I mean, you're not allowed, are you? You're not allowed any.
I've got no exciting Vegas stories.
Liar.
No, I genuinely haven't. Genuinely haven't. I was quite tired.
From fucking all those slot machines.
Yeah, so that's what happened in Vegas. Really did stay in Vegas because you were just exhausted.
I was knackered, yeah.
Just being knackered.
It was quite a spectacle, but I don't...
Yeah, not all spectacles are good things.
No.
Wouldn't you rather see like the real Statue of Liberty and the real Eiffel Tower and?
Yeah, but you have to go all around the world to do that.
Yeah, but
you're
the
all
ones
in one place.
The ones in Vegas are also quite rubbish.
Yeah,
That's
they
what I'm
are.
saying. Wouldn't you rather see?
Which is kind of even better. They're like, that's crap.
Yeah, like I was expecting them to be huge and like be a real thing. They're not.
How big are they?
Oh, about as big as a house.
Yeah, and they look like they're kind of like peeling at little pots.
Oh yeah, they're really
like made of plastic and crap.
It's really worn out. I really like Fremont Street, which is old Vegas. That's where like the Golden Nugget and stuff is.
Oh yeah.
So the Strip is like really flashy, really slick, big money. Fremont Street is where all the old time Vegas stuff was, and it's a bit dingy and a bit grotty,
hardened locals,
and I kind of like that. I prefer that.
Well, that's already in the undertone, right? Of like the whole thing. So it's like might as well go for what's actually lifted it up is like what's holding it.
You mean like because it's Sin City?
Well, like the grottiness of it, it's like that's all there.
Yeah.
They're pretending to polish it, but that's not.
Yeah.
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 I would like to see the sign though. That seems like it'd be very like a cool thing to see. The Las Vegas sign.
Yeah. But once you've seen it, it is just a sign.
That's what I mean, but that's probably that's the pull.
Well, I'm definitely not sold on Vegas then.
Neither is your
I'll
fiance.
get married
apparently.
somewhere else, I guess. Yeah.
I guess.
I did walk into one casino and walked up to the table, and she said, "Hello, sir." I said, "There's $10. Stick it on black."
Oh yeah.
I'm kind of a high roller. And she didn't like that.
She didn't like it.
No, she wasn't having that.
Fifth time she's had it that day.
Not how you engage. That's not how you engage a prostitute.
Engage.
Well, you're engaging them
nice
for their,
verb.
you're engaging them for their services. You're not using them. You're engaging their services.
You're right. It was a poor choice of words. I apologise.
The same way you don't use a masseuse. I mean, you're not meant to.
I want to stop talking now.
I don't. I like it when you talk. It spurns conversation. If everyone says everything correctly the first time every time, it's a very short conversation. See?
Yeah.
See, I just made a perfectly cogent point and didn't fuck up any of the words. It killed the conversation.
Yeah, right.
So you've been publicly shamed and cancelled.
Yeah, exactly. Good work.
How
Stir
great-
it up.
How great would that be? Public shaming and cancellation. Imagine being big enough that people care enough to publicly shame and cancel you.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be better to just be big and not have that happen?
Yeah, but we don't always get what we want.
No.
You know, sometimes success comes at a cost.
Yeah.
Of it.
And
Sometimes
that
that
being
cost.
cancelled for fucking an emu in your case.
I didn't get cancelled for fucking the emu. I got cancelled for posting the video.
Emu was flirting first.
Exactly. Well, it was. Yeah, it kept doing this with its head.
Why is that the
Then it buried its head in the sand, and I thought that's definitely a thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Good work.
Funny side story. Funny fact. In Australia, it's completely legal to have sex with an emu.
What? Jesus Christ!
But it's completely illegal to film it and for the purposes of pornography. It's like the opposite of America. You know, in America, you're not allowed to hire a prostitute.
No.
But if you film yourself having sex with a prostitute, that's pornography, and that's completely legal.
Really?
Yeah. Opposite thing in Australia.
I want this to be true, but I don't think it is.
No, it is.
Really?
Yeah, but the reason that most people don't go over is because of the drop bears. So if you go to Australia and you try to fuck an emu, most tourists get killed by drop bears first.
What's a drop bear?
So drop bears are a different strain of the koala family that are like carnivorous, and they hide up in trees.
How
and they
many
drop
layers
down
do you
the-
want to go on this lie? How deep? How deep are you going to build it?
How long was the longest podcast you ever did?
4 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah, so I got like 4 hours left.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
All right, tell me about drop bears.
So drop bears are a species of koala. It's kind of like, you know how gorillas and chimps are related, but they're not that closely related, and we're related to them, but not like in a not in a kissing cousin way. And then so
like
the
you're in
drop
Australia.
Yeah.
Then you don't film it.
Never film anything in Australia. We don't want evidence. So a drop bear is like a tiger to a house cat.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, like a drop bear is a tiger and a koala is a house cat. And so, I mean, long story short, they drop down from trees and they
Fuck you up.
They kill you.
Like everything in Australia does.
What doesn't fuck you up in Australia?
The emus, you fuck
no,
the
koalas
emus
do that. Koalas give you
chlamydia.
Yeah. I'd like to say the locals, but that's not true either. There's plenty of people. There's a bush, I believe. I should fact check things before I say them out loud.
Really? Because you just said a load of bollocks before and it didn't seem to slow you down.
Everything I've said up until now is 100% true. What I'm about to say may be factually inaccurate. I beg forgiveness if it is.
Not granted.
There may, in fact, be a bush in the north of Queensland called the suicide bush, which is called the suicide bush because apparently if you get stung by it, the pain is so excruciating that people have been known to take their own lives rather than endure it, because apparently it can last for anywhere from a couple of days to months to even possibly years. No one knows, because those people tend not to survive that long.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Good grief.
I think.
Definitely not true.
But that was your answer to what's nice about Australia.
Yes.
I would like
absolutely.
to see the statistics
on how many people have died
Yep, me
from
too.
being attacked by a drop bear while having sex with an emu.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing those statistics either.
Those statistics can't be relied upon because there's absolutely no concrete evidence that anyone was ever having
Does
sex
the
with an
emu escape?
Yeah, drop bears don't eat emus.
Because that'd be mad, wouldn't it?
Well, they're a symbiotic relationship. The emus get the people in to fuck them, and then the drop bears prey on the people.
What? So you're telling me the emus are like
honey
a female Russian agent?
Yeah.
They're a honey trap.
Yeah, basically.
Well, what's in it for the emu?
Oh,
gets fucked.
Nobody has ever proven that they gets that far. That's just like, it's a confidence boost, isn't it? You know. Oh, that cute English guy wanted to...
Whoa, don't lay on us, mate.
Hold on.
Wanted to ruffle my feathers.
Why are you tarring an Englishman? I thought this was an Aussie tradition.
I don't know, why are you fucking an emu?
Trying to lure that drop bear down.
It's not even the emu that you want.
No.
Where do you go from bestiality and death by animal?
Well, I was going to say, that's what... Do you know about the... You do, but do you guys know about the Emu Wars?
Yes.
No.
I was wondering if that's what they were for.
I don't. Tell me about the emu wars.
Our shameful military
Well,
defeat.
I don't know if it's really my story to tell. I feel like our resident...
The emus should tell it. because history is written by the victors, and they whooped our asses.
What happened in the emu wars?
So, as I know, I haven't researched this thoroughly. As
No.
Oh, no!
No, because it's like when you go to Germany, like you want to enjoy current German culture. You don't want to remember the war.
I really thought you
It's
you
the
want
same
to
as
endure it.
no. You want to enjoy modern German culture. You don't want to talk about the past too much. You want to acknowledge this. It's the same with the Emu War. If you're trying to sweet talk an emu, you don't want to be bringing up like their granddad died in the Emu Wars, and that's a mood killer. Anyway, the Emu Wars were I believe it was the early 1900s. There were a bunch of emus that were, I believe, either trampling or eating farmers' crops, perhaps, in numbers that were unsustainable for what they needed to produce in their yield. And so they engaged their local politicians who moved it up the chain, and the Australian military was brought in to deal with the issue. Now you got to remember this is at a point in history where guns were good, but not like modern day good. And so what they did is they took some military vehicles out there, and they started to try and cull the emus. And unfortunately, these guns are very loud and they don't have a great rate of fire. So they would fire a couple of shots at these emus. The emus would hear it and they'd run away. And so they couldn't really shoot enough emus to make any difference. So eventually, via attrition, the emus outlasted the Australian military. They gave up and went home. And it's 100% true. They just couldn't kill the emus. They couldn't kill enough.
Yeah. And I believe there were 3, but I could be wrong, there could only be 2. But they tried this more than once, and the emus won every time.
How dare you try to kill a dinosaur anyway? We've already killed enough of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're so sweet and gentle and caring and loving and like
sexy.
They give the most incredible spooning experience that you will ever experience.
Good head as well, I imagine.
Oh, great.
Well, this has gone down an interesting path.
Talk about a throat monster.
Should we eat pancakes?
Yeah.
Do you want to end your podcast on that note?
Yeah, I really do. If they've come for my usual content, I think that's the perfect way to end it.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you all for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
It's been nice. Should we leave an awkward pause at the end?
Oh, I think that'd be too much like, what's his face, wouldn't it?
Who?
The Scottish bloke.
What Scottish bloke?
You know, the guy who did the late with, what's his name?
Craig Fergus.
That's the one.
What did he do?
Awkward pause.
I don't want goat's cheese on my
And now stay tuned for the Steve Kennedy story.
Okay, I hear there's a celebration in order. It is your 100th podcast, and that's a wonderful thing. I hope there is more and many, many more and years to come and something even bigger comes out of it. So we will celebrate after this conversation. But I just need to know, Rob sent me this note to send you this video. And he wrote TBOTA. What's a Tabata? I'm trying to figure it out. I'm not good with crossword puzzles. I can't figure out if it's a different language. I tried to sound it out, but TBOTA, Tabata. So happy Tabata on your 100th podcast broadcasting. On a note that makes me very happy, I'm so glad that the two of you really get along so well and look forward to doing this podcast. And hopefully it reaches people who really care about what you guys have to say. It's a wonderful thing for people to get information, to release, to have a funny story, to turn around and, be thoughtful of others. And however your podcast goes, be a little crazy. So Rob asked me to do a little story about you that he might not know. So the one story I'm going to say is, when Caitlin was about 8 or 9 years old, we were coming out of a pizzeria on the main drag on Grand Avenue in Baldwin where we live. Now, literally, there was no parking lot, so the cars were parked in the street. And Caitlin and I don't remember if you, Caitlin, were holding the pizza box or I was. I think you were. And what happened is we were on the street corner just waiting to, cross the street or go on to the other side, the driver's side of my truck. I don't know why I would say that, but a car came fast and cruised around the corner, so close to us. And we had to back up. We were frozen and we weren't sticking out that far, not even past whatever cars were already parked there. And you looked up at me and you said, "Daddy, my butt crack went up to a place I never knew it could reach before." So that's a story that you, Caitlin, will remember, but Rob maybe never heard. Now, on the other note, that it's a funny and happy time, Rob asked me to say something else that was maybe one of those crazy stories that I might have about myself. Well, amongst the millions and millions of stories that I have, one was that Steve Kennedy, at that time, back in the early 70s, was my best friend. And we turned around and we used to walk everywhere. 10th grade was my worst year in school because I hardly ever went. But made a deal with the postman that came and also found out in school that every other day, if you didn't show up, a cut card would go home. So basically, I made a deal with the post guy and said, every time a cut card comes, could you hold it for me? So this way my parents didn't get it. Well, needless to say, that worked out real well, but not for education purposes. But anyway, to go back to Steve Kennedy and I, on one of our many, many journeys, we turned around and went to Adventures Inn, where I worked years later, maybe 2 more years later. And it's an amusement park in Queens, in Flushing. And it was closed, so we went into this place that was all undeveloped at the time. Now, there's not a spot to be had, but 40 years ago, undeveloped. And we're walking around and Steve decides to make fun of this guy that's in this little teeny weeny airport that's there, only for tiny plane, 2-person planes, maybe 4-person planes. So with that, Steve's making fun of this guy with this tiny little hat on his head. And I'm like, Steve, stop. The guy's getting mad at us, but the fence is there and he can't get us. Steve says, screw this guy. Ha ha, what are you wearing that stupid little hat for? Well, needless to say, as we're walking feeling safe along this barren area that's all filled with debris and construction dirt, the guy comes out with a 4-wheel drive truck. The gate automatically opened, and he's coming after us, and that's it. Well, Steve and I love to get chased, so we were on the run. We ran into this deserted, land-filled, mine-filled, dirt-filled area that if we were dead, nobody would ever found us for years maybe. And he's coming after us, driving into this area with this truck, this four-wheel drive truck. Well, needless to say, when we finally got far enough away from him and he couldn't come any further, we both felt comfortable. And we get to this area where basically it's about a 20-foot high ravine, and below it is a small little, I'm sorry, I have to continue my Steve Kennedy story because a call was coming in. That's why you saw me reach for the top. And by reaching for the top to get rid of the call, it made my podcast stop. So this is part 2 of part 1, if that makes any sense. And nothing in my life makes sense. But anyway, as Steve Kennedy and I are in this area where there's a ravine like this, and it's about 10 foot wide, and there's no way to go back to where the guy still was driving his truck, figuring out how to kill us, and getting to safety on the other side of this type of a ravine. We walked along because there was water in there. It was like a creek. So we decide there's no way, it's too far to jump. So Steve and I decide, well, listen, the guy's making more fun. Steve was making more fun of the guy. So if the guy does happen to come walking for us and sneak up on us, he's going to want to kick one of our asses or both. So Steve decides he's going to jump first. And I almost pushed him out of the way to jump first. There was a little branch. There was another piece of wood, and the water trickled down to about a 2-inch wide thing with sand on both sides. We figured, okay, this is dry land. So Steve says, I'm going to jump. And he pushes me to the side, and he decides to jump, and he hits that perfect piece of wood and that little bit of a log there, and he sinks up to his waist in muck. It was like quicksand. And I'm looking at him like, oh my God. And he's facing that way, and I'm behind him, and he's turning around. And since we were just basically teenagers, our voices were still kind of up and down when you screamed. So he went from, help me, help me. It was crazy. I laughed so hard that basically I was falling on the floor, on my knees. I couldn't help him. And the more he tried to get out of the muck, the harder and the deeper he went into this muck. I'm like, how am I going to go home and tell your parents that you died in the muck? Because you were supposed to be at school. So as I'm running around looking for something to reach down, some kind of rope, something that could be in this desolate area, I go around the turn, and there's a telephone pole completely across to the other side. So I walk across the telephone pole like Tarzan. And I get to the side. Now I'm looking right at him, down into the ravine. And he's looking, he goes, how did you get over there? And I said, there's a big log across. He goes, help me, and he's sinking more. So luckily on that side, where I am now, there were big pieces of branch and whatnot, and I put it down, and we were able to get him out. And let me tell you something, when you get stuck in low tide muck, he came out, it was like tar. It was horrible, and the smell was incredible on this guy. So because of where we were now, we were able to get to the back of this Adventures Inn amusement park, which was not open yet. They didn't have a fence in the back because it was all barren land. There was no reason to fence that. The front had a fence. So we sneak into the bathroom. And back then they had a trough. Basically 5 guys could line up and pee like if a horse would drink out of a trough, a big long trough. That's how you peed. You didn't have individual toilets at that point. You had toilet bowls, but not places like a urinal. So Steve takes off his pants. I'm washing his socks and his shoes, his sneakers in the trough on the other end. He's got his legs and his feet, and he's washing he took off his shirt because the top of his shirt, the bottom I should say, was still covered with this stuff. Steve's standing there naked in his underwear. And a guy walks in, another guy with a tiny little hat. It must have been something at the time that people had to wear these tiny hats in the middle of the 70s or early 70s with a big cigar. A small guy's big cigar, you know what that means. Anyway, long story short, which I never do, he turns around, he said, what are you guys doing here? And we told him we got stuck in the mud, and he goes, well, you better get out of here and you better clean up, because you can see the prints like in a horror movie. All the footprints from Steve walking in, it was everywhere. Well, needless to say, after we got Steve all cleaned up, and he's running around with wet pants and everything else, we were able to sneak out of there. And did we clean up? No, we did not. So that's a story that I think I might have told you, Caitlin, but that's one for the records. So on that note, I will now celebrate and welcome you into podcast history. Your 100th episode coming up. So hopefully my story reaches people and they say how stupid and how silly this guy is, but true stories. I got them all. I got 1 million of them. So here's to your 100th, I guess, anniversary of your podcast, and to many, many more. And I still don't know what Tabata means. Well, love you guys. Enjoy.
Thanks for listening to the show. If you've enjoyed it, please give us 5 stars and consider becoming a subscriber and maybe even supporting us on Patreon. Really, really, really helps me continue making this show. If you haven't enjoyed it, then you can fuck off. Many, many thanks to Nils Steer for the amazing music and to Dave Fox for the cool artwork. Please keep coming back every week for more Bliss the Abyss.
Message 1.